Check this one out. This is distributive property twice. You see two sets of them here. This is double distributing. Like here's a distributive property, here's the distributive property, and then we're going to combine like terms afterwards. If you can do this one, you can do any of them, honestly. So let's try to tackle this. So the first thing I do is I circle. I'm going to use a different color here. So I like to circle that one, multiply once. That's a 2, and so it's going to be 2 times n. 2 times n, right, like that. Okay, then I do it twice. Multiply once, multiply twice. Remember, that's the distributive property. It distributes the multiplication that's out front to each of the individual things inside. All right, so we go 2 times n, and we do 2 times 3. And then I rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 times n, as right like this. I don't write the multiplication in between because that's implied. 2 times 3 is going to now be 6. So then I go plus 6. All right? So what do I do next? Well, this particular piece, this is where people tend to make mistakes, is on this particular piece right here. I must include the sign that's in front of that one if there's a negative or a subtraction. Now this is technically a subtraction, but you have to include that when you multiply once and twice. When you distribute it, it has to include the negative on that 2 right there. Okay? So it's going to be negative 2 times 1. So negative 2 multiplied by 1, and drop your answer down, right? So this will be negative 2. All right? Then right here I go negative 2 times negative 6. So it's by all of this. You see that I'm calling that subtraction actually a negative. That's okay. I'm going to take these two pieces, and so my arithmetic looks like this. Remember, we can do this, and it's to be a negative times a negative is a positive, and so I'm going to write down plus, and it's going to be 2 times 6, which is 12, and then I keep the n with it. Okay, because we're just simply multiplying the numbers together, but you do have to include that on the 6. It belongs to that 6. And this one belongs to that 2. So you have to keep it with it. All right? So here's our next step. Now we look at this whole spread. This is all one expression. It's really only separated by subtraction right here. Okay? So all of this needs to be combined into some like terms. If I was to rewrite it, you don't have to do this, but it would look like this. 2n plus 6 minus 2 plus 12n as an entire expression. Okay, an expression because it's doesn't have an equal sign anywhere. So this is equal to the original, but we're simplifying it into a simpler way that it looks. Okay, so right here, the next thing we're going to do is I like to use my circles and my squares. My circles, I like to put around either my variables, right like that, including the sign that's in front of each one. So if that was a subtraction, I would include it with it. Okay, same over here, include anything that's in front of it as well. Okay, then over here, I am going to put a box around this one and a box around this one. And as you get more advanced and more fluid with this and you practice more, you don't have to do the boxes and circles, right? You just kind of put it together and make it work. These two will combo up together because they're both regular numbers with no variables. But these two over here, this one and this one, will go together because they are like terms. They both have an n on them, all right? And so 2 plus 12, and we combo them up, and it's going to look right like this. 2 and 12 go together, so that is, if I did my arithmetic over here, it would be 2n plus 12n, and if you had something like that, you would just call it 14n. Both positive, 14n. Okay, then I put these together, and it's really 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 would be plus 4. All right? Where this gets interesting is when there's some goofy arithmetic, like plus a negative, or any kind of weird things that happen there. But am I done? Yes. Do not go any further than that. You can't add these together because this one has an n on it, and this one has a number on it. You want all of the variables combined as far as they can go together, and then all the numbers combined as far as they can go together, and then you're done, and all you do is put a box around that final answer. Right, like that. That's it. Final answer. Notice that I was flowing down the paper, funneling it to that final answer, and that's it. All right. I think we can do that. They don't get a whole lot tougher than that right there. All right. Simple. So a recap is first step would be to use the distributive, and then the second is combine like terms as far as possible. Distribute. DC, I guess. Distribute and then combine like terms. Okay, that's it.